our clients. But that's one of the things I'm encouraged about. The council seems to be a strong council. They're working well together. Obviously, they're not going to see eye to eye on everything, and you see some of that. But it seems like a good working group. What do you think about the council?
Yeah, it really does. And I remember my first council. I thought it was a good working group as well. This one, the best thing about this council is most of them don't come to the council within the baggage of I'm from this camp or I'm from that camp. You know, a lot of them just ran and got elected, right?
Right.
And so you don't have, you know, I'm with the Kingston faction or this faction. I'm loyal to the mayor. A lot of them seem to be district first. And in a representational style of government, that's important. And if you're district first, that's fine. But as long as you're able to sort of sit down at the table and deal with your fellow council members and the mayor, then that works. Yeah. When you don't have when you're not saddled with, I got to be loyal to this guy because exactly I got to stay in my clique. And so that's the most exciting thing about the new council is that maybe they can actually sit down and come from a place of openness, like, hey, we're ready to test new ideas, and hey, tell me what you want to say. I'm willing to listen, and if I agree with you, and if I don't, we can talk about it.
It definitely seems more collaborative for sure, and you know, hopefully, I bludgeoned Shawn over the head with the term effectiveness in politics, and so to me, it's like you got to get stuff done. I think that's why people are mad at Congress and people are mad at politics in general, and you know, maybe they just want to fight, but I don't know. I want to see my elected officials get stuff done. So do you see them being able to get a few things done in the next, you know, by the end of the year?
Yeah, right now, and we'll see what they want to tackle first, and that's the challenge. I mean, there are problems, and Johnson wants to work on workforce readiness. He wants to be an education mayor. He knows the importance of educating the citizenry here and getting them ready for those high-tech jobs that are coming. You know, Uber, you know, announces is coming here, and I expect more companies to follow. But one of the biggest complaints that companies have when they go anywhere, and it's not complaints, but one of the things they tell you is that, we got these jobs, but we need to find people to fill them, right?
You got to have a workforce.
Exactly, And so, you know, that's where cities like Boston excels at, because, you know, they have all those universities, so they really don't have to...
Thrown off all sorts of people.
Exactly. So, in that respect, that's what Johnson wants to work on, and so if the council can do that and moves toward that, of course, crime is something that is never ending, and we'll see what happens with that. And
we'll see with the budget. I mean, the budget is going to be the first kind of test to see how those priorities are going to line up. Put your money where your mouth is, right? So we can talk about how these things are important. But when and I worked at the police department, when roughly 60% of the budget goes to public safety, you know, you're really slicing that pie as thinly as you can. So,
and you guys remember when the budget were on the Leopard and to some degree Rawlings, there were some budget problems. There wasn't a lot of money to go around, and when the economy tanked around 2008, 9, and so they're going to have a little more to work with than some councils. But you're right, public safety is something they're going to have to work on. So much of the budget goes to that. The chief is back, right? We'll see what happens with all of that. I was in. I don't have as much hair as I used to, but I still go to the barbershops in South Dallas, right?
That's where you get all the knowledge.
Exactly, right?
Barbershop.
And I remember I was driving over there on MLK, and I saw the DPS, the state troopers. I was like, what in the world? Something's going to happen with this. And sure enough, there were news conferences, and there was concerns over the policing tactics in that area. But notice, it didn't really blow up into sort of a controversial deal in the past, I think that would have been a month-long thing, right?
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I was surprised that DPS came to town, in the first place. And so I think the fact that it hasn't blown up has a lot to do with the mayor has a relationship that is existing with the state.
With the state, with the governor.
I think that helped. And I think they eventually had a community town hall meeting that they probably should have had earlier. And so to your point, especially, there's news in your paper today regarding the shooting that happened, right? And so I think in the past there could have been a lot more, but credit really to the mayor and to the city. And I know Chief Hall and Chief Hughes, they've had meetings with the community because, we've seen what could happen.
Yeah, exactly. And you guys have seen that sort of situation where you have policing in the community go off the rails,
right?
Like that, but it didn't this time. And one of my old barbers when I first got here got shot, man, Fred from King of Cuts, and I believe in August in South Dallas,
Mm-hmm.
And I think that shook up a lot of people, and they're willing to say, okay, if it takes bringing state police here, if there's aggressive policing, then we can live with that if we can stop some of the problems.
This is Deconstructing Dallas. Ryan Trimble, Shawn Williams, joined by our old friend Gromer Jeffers from the Dallas Morning News. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. Thanks for sticking with us.
It's fall in Texas, and you know what that means, fairs and fried food. Ring in fair season at Trinity Groves on Friday, September 13th at 6 p.m. and taste delicious fair-inspired food from a dozen of the Trinity Groves restaurants. We're talking fried lobster corn dogs, pound cake fried with funnel cake batter, fried baklava, fried chicken and waffles wrapped with bacon, turkey legs, and of course, refreshing drinks to wash it all down. Go to Facebook and search Fair Food Fest to purchase your $5 entry ticket before it sells out.
Welcome back, Deconstructing Dallas. Ryan Trimble, Shawn Williams, and Shawn. We are joined today by our friend Gromer Jeffers from the Dallas Morning News. I've known Gromer for a long time. Got to know him when I was just a lowly staffer for State Representative Dan Branch, and he was always good to me. I was always sitting at the kids' table at the chamber luncheons.
That would be hilarious,
and
man.
That's where they put the journalists, too. So I got to know Gromer eating a lot of Chamber of Commerce rubber chicken.
I know, man. My mouth still dry after that. Man.
That's right.
Jaw still hurts on that chicken. But man, I mean, we were always talking, man, and that would be. Yeah. That would be cool because a lot of times, sit down and the staff tries to, be hard, work you, and try to contain you, but you were like, hey, let's talk politics, and we just start.
Yeah, it was good.
Hey, he would talk politics with anybody.
With anybody,
anywhere.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure even Lil Tate has probably heard his fair share of politics already.
Yeah. So anyway, but so you've been following the Texas legislature for a long time, longer than I've been in it. So. We've got some new fun. There's always fun in the legislature, always something to watch. And for the past month or so, 6 weeks, going on 2 months now, we've been watching this. What do you call it? I don't know if it's a scandal. It's a lot of action. You've got the Speaker of the House, Dennis Bonnen, and his meeting with conservative activist Michael Quinn Sullivan. Gromer, what do you think about the situation?
Wow. Yeah.
Open-ended question for you.
I know, right? I mean, look, Bonnen's in trouble, right? one of the, as in the Texas legislature, and you know this, working with Dan, the members, the speaker is a very powerful person. He's part of the big three, the governor, the lieutenant governor, and the speaker. One of the things that members want from their speaker is the feeling that he's with them, and that they want him to create an environment where they can, even though he's speaker and sets the tone and picks his, committee chairs and all that, they want to be heard. And they want to know that the speaker supports them and is not going to put a knife in their back or run someone against them during an election season, especially if you're in the same party as that speaker. And so the problem with that meeting is that it appears that he met with Michael Quinn Sullivan in Empower Texans for whatever reason. That could be the first problem right there. Even to taking a meeting. Look, nothing against Michael Quinn Sullivan. He does his thing. He has an agenda. Yes. He's clear about his motives, right? He's
absolutely
ultra-conservative. If you take a meeting with him, you do so at your own peril, right?
Yes.
I mean,
it's probably going to be recorded.
Yes. Well, now, if he doesn't know, then he knows now. So, but taking that meeting is questionable. But when it goes off the rails and then it gets into going after members, fellow House members and members of your own... Allegedly. Yes. We'll see if we ever hear the recording. That's where the problem is for him. Mm-hmm. Because as speaker, especially coming off this Kumbaya session where everybody
felt like it was a good, effective session.
Thank you, Shawn.
Yes. And then they're like, oh, my God, you're going after... If you wanted the alleged 10 Republicans he was going after, they're like, oh, wow. And so now it, to me, depends on a couple of things. The question is what? Will he survive?
Will he survive? Yeah.
Yeah. Depends on a couple of things. One, we need to hear the recording, right? How does it sound? Is he really going for it? Going after me, saying that? Is he really dogging these other members and saying these things that he allegedly?
Swirling reports that he said some nasty
stuff. Exactly.
Inappropriate stuff.
So, right. Yeah, so we need to hear that. Yeah. Second thing. What happens in 2020? The Republicans hold the House, so they could take care of itself. And if Democrats win the House, then it doesn't really matter, right? But what if there are more losses for Republicans next year in 2020?
Right.
And they have a razor-thin majority. And people blame the Speaker Bonin for it, saying, you worried about allegedly knocking off of fellow members, and here we are, Democrats taking it to us again.
Yeah.
So it's been a distraction. How would 2020 turn out? Now, if Republicans rebound from 18 to 12 Republicans that lost and sort of make gains, then it could be forgotten, depending again on what you hear on the tape.
Yeah.
Yeah, and, we still got business that really needs to be taken care of right now. There have been over 60 Democrats who are calling for a special session, especially as it relates to gun laws and gun violence. Today, the governor put out 8 executive orders dealing with gun violence, but yet we're talking about the speaker, and what's going on. So really, this is affecting the ability for them to do the work of the people.
Yeah, because as long as that recording is still out there, I mean, he probably, imagine he having nightmares about it being released. He wants it released, right? And I think that's tactical.
I think he has to have it released.
Yeah, because he wants get it out. Yeah. Still some distance between now and when the session starts.
Correct.
The 2021 session. Get it out. Take your lumps if there are lumps to be taken, and move on by it. But we'll see. But you're right, though. There are a lot of other issues that they should be concerned about.
Well, let me ask you this: do you think we're insiders? Do you think it affects normal voters? I think it's seeping into the mainstream. I mean, it's been in the paper so much. So, do normal voters see this and think, I don't want this. I don't like this. I'm gonna, the independent voter. Do they see this? I think they see it and don't like it.
Yeah, they see it and they don't like it because it reminds them of what's wrong with government. that kind of pure politics, where you get in the back room and cut a deal with somebody to knock these folks off when you